And I think we can talk about it now, and if I can talk about it and bang the drum a bit.
But take a close look at her tiara.
Yeah?
That's one of Princess Diana's favorites.
Kate Middleton stuns in Princess Diana's favorite tiara.
She walked out onto the grand steps of Horse Guards Parade, the world watching. Cameras clicked, eyes narrowed, but no one could have guessed what came next, because there, gleaming at Catherine's collarbone, sat one of Princess Diana's most iconic heirlooms. A piece so legendary, so emotionally charged, it instantly reignited royal tension. The internet lit up. Side-by-side comparisons of Diana in the 1980s and Catherine in 2022 went viral. But the real explosion came later, when rumors spread like wildfire. Queen Camilla was furious, absolutely livid. How could Catherine wear that piece? Was it a silent rebellion, a tribute, or something more calculated? This wasn't just a fashion moment. It was a royal flashpoint. Because this wasn't any old necklace. This was Diana's wedding gift, an emerald and diamond masterpiece, once worn during the golden days of her marriage to Prince Charles. And now it was around the neck of the future Queen Catherine. So what exactly happened here? Why would Camilla be angry about a royal heirloom that technically belongs to the crown? And more importantly, is any of this even true? Buckle up, because we're diving into the history, the controversy, and the truth behind one of the most dramatic royal accessory moments in years. Before it caused a royal stir, the emerald and diamond piece had a life of its own, long before Diana, Camilla, or Catherine ever laid eyes on it. The necklace originally belonged to Queen Alexandra, the wife of King Edward VII. It dates all the way back to 1863 and features a striking combination of white diamonds and a cabochon-cut emerald. Over the decades, it passed through generations of royals, finally landing in the hands of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. In 1981, the Queen Mother gifted it to Lady Diana Spencer as a wedding present when she married Prince Charles. Back then, it was still in its original necklace form, a statement piece that Diana wore on multiple high-profile occasions. One of the most memorable was a glamorous gala event in Australia during her first royal tour. She paired it with a green velvet gown, and it made headlines across the globe. The necklace became symbolic, almost like Diana's unofficial armor. Whenever she wore it, she seemed bolder, more confident. It wasn't just jewelry, it was power, legacy, and deeply personal. But after Diana's death in 1997, much of her jewelry was returned to the royal vaults. Some pieces went to her sons, others were kept under royal ownership. And for over a decade, this necklace disappeared from public view. Until one day, it came back, but not in the form anyone expected. In 2019, the piece resurfaced, but it looked nothing like what Diana once wore. Queen Camilla made a bold move. She took the emerald and diamond necklace and transformed it into a brooch. Not just any brooch either. The giant, statement-making badge decorated with 4 carats of diamonds, a striking emerald centerpiece, and 3 dramatic ostrich feathers, a design element tied to the Prince of Wales's heraldic badge. She debuted it at a very symbolic event, the 50th anniversary of Charles's investiture as Prince of Wales. Royal watchers were stunned. Here was Camilla, wearing what many still saw as Diana's necklace, now reimagined into a brooch and pinned proudly to her coat. Was this a respectful revival of a royal heirloom, or was it a subtle message? Some praised Camilla for bringing historic jewelry back into circulation. After all, royals have been reworking heirlooms for centuries, but others saw it as a power play, a quiet but pointed declaration that the past was over and a new era had begun. The brooch became a visual marker of Camilla's evolution, from mistress to queen consort, and raised eyebrows across royal circles. For some, it felt like closure. For others, it was like rubbing salt in an old wound. And just when people stopped talking about it, Catherine wore it. Fast forward to 2022. It was a crisp November day, and the British royal family was hosting South African President Cyril Ramaphosa at Horse Guards Parade. Dressed in a deep plum coat and matching hat, Catherine looked every bit the future queen. But it wasn't her outfit that got people talking, it was the brooch. Pinned just below her shoulder was the same emerald and diamond piece once worn by Camilla, and before that, by Diana. Photos hit the press within minutes. Social media lit up. The brooch hadn't been seen since Camilla's 2019 event, and now here it was, suddenly worn by Catherine, in full view of the world. To royal fans, the symbolism was unmistakable. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, wearing the same heirloom Diana had received on her wedding day. To some, it was a beautiful tribute, a bridge between generations. To others, it felt like a line had been crossed. Wasn't this Camilla's piece now? Or was it still, in spirit, Diana's? What made the moment even more powerful was Catherine's quiet confidence. No press release, no explanation. Just her, stepping into history with the weight of two women behind her, Diana's legacy and Camilla's current reign. Whether she meant to send a message or not, one thing was clear. The brooch had returned to center stage. And depending on who you ask, Catherine either reignited an old feud or honored a legacy in the most graceful way possible. Then came the headlines. Queen Camilla seething after Kate wears Diana's heirloom. Royal rift explodes over brooch drama. Camilla blindsided by Catherine's power move. Tabloids and social media jumped on the moment like sharks in a feeding frenzy. Posts with dramatic thumbnails and clickbait titles racked up millions of views. TikToks dissected every angle of the brooch. Royal gossip blogs spun theories faster than you could say palace intrigue. The claim? That Queen Camilla was caught off guard, enraged that Catherine would wear the brooch, her brooch, without permission or warning. Some reports even suggested a heated exchange behind palace walls. Others hinted at frosty tension between the two women ever since Charles officially gave Catherine the title of Princess of Wales, a title once linked to Diana. But here's the thing. None of those claims were backed by credible sources. There were no official statements from the palace. No reputable journalists confirmed the supposed argument. The story seemed to spring up from thin air, or rather, from the internet's deep hunger for royal drama. Still, the story caught fire. After all, it wasn't just about a piece of jewelry. It was about history, rivalry, public memory, and who owns the legacy of Princess Diana. Even though the idea of a furious Queen Camilla was more speculation than fact, it spread like gospel. In the court of public opinion, perception often becomes reality. And this perception? It fit a narrative too juicy to resist. The outsider queen still battling the ghost of the people's princess, and now facing off with Diana's daughter-in-law. The stage was set, but was any of it even true? So, did Queen Camilla really lose it over Catherine wearing the brooch? Let's look at the facts. Major outlets like People, InStyle, and Brides.com have all covered the history of the brooch and its connection to Diana. But none of them have reported any credible claims of Camilla being furious or even mildly upset. In fact, the palace has remained completely silent on the issue, as it often does with royal gossip. And when you trace the rumor's origin, it all points back to sensational TikToks and YouTube videos. No insider sources, no journalists with real palace connections, just speculation, amplified by algorithms and our obsession with royal drama. In reality, the royal family regularly rotates heirlooms among its members. Queen Elizabeth wore jewelry from Queen Victoria. Catherine frequently wears earrings and bracelets once worn by Diana. Even Meghan Markle has donned pieces from Diana's collection, including a stunning aquamarine ring at her wedding reception. Camilla herself has been seen with pieces from Queen Elizabeth's and even Diana's eras, like the famed Rothschild diamond brooch and more recently, the Lady Dior bag named after Diana. So the idea that Catherine would need special permission to wear the brooch is unlikely. Most of these heirlooms are owned by the crown, not individuals. Could Camilla have felt some way about it privately? Sure, but that's pure guesswork. What we do know is this. There's zero hard evidence that Camilla was blindsided or furious. More likely, the brooch was simply reassigned for a high-profile event, something that happens all the time in royal circles. The drama? It's mostly smoke. The real story lies in how quickly we're drawn to these kinds of narratives, and what they say about our lingering fixation on Diana, even decades later. In the world of royalty, jewelry isn't just decoration, it's strategy. Every tiara, brooch, and sapphire sends a message. And when it comes to heirlooms, the rules are surprisingly fluid. Most royal jewels aren't privately owned. They belong to the crown, which means they can be passed between royals based on occasion, rank, or relevance. This tradition stretches back centuries. Queen Elizabeth II, for example, often wore pieces that belonged to Queen Mary or Queen Victoria. It's part of keeping the family's visual legacy alive. Catherine's use of Diana's jewelry is no exception. Her sapphire engagement ring, her pearl earrings, even the lover's knot tiara, all belong to Diana. Each time she wears them, it's seen as a tribute, not a challenge. The public generally embraces it as a symbol of continuity. Camilla, too, has leaned into this tradition. Since becoming queen consort, she's been spotted wearing historic brooches, family tiaras, and even carrying the Lady Dior bag, an accessory forever linked to Diana. Instead of erasing the past, Camilla seems to be incorporating it into her present role. This makes the outrage over the emerald brooch seem even more misplaced. If Catherine had never worn Diana's pieces before, the moment might have felt more charged, but in reality, it's part of a larger pattern of respectful reuse, something the royals have always done. There's no royal handbook that says, this jewel belongs to this person forever. Instead, heirlooms are living symbols, passed, worn, and reinterpreted with each generation. So while social media might see rivalry, the palace sees tradition. And Catherine wearing the brooch may not have been rebellious at all. It may have been business as usual. There's a reason this brooch moment exploded the way it did. It taps into something deeper than fashion or jewelry. The British royal family isn't just a monarchy, it's a centuries-old soap opera. And at the center of that drama, Princess Diana remains the most emotionally resonant character of all. Her story of love, betrayal, tragedy still grips people worldwide. For many, she was the real Queen of Hearts. So anything linked to her, especially something as personal as jewelry, feels sacred. When people saw Catherine wear the brooch, it wasn't just about emeralds and diamonds. It was about Diana's memory being reclaimed, reshaped, and brought back into the spotlight. And that made it emotional. Add Queen Camilla into the mix, and the stakes get even higher. Her complicated past with Diana, first as the other woman, now as queen, makes her actions constantly scrutinized. Whether fair or not, every move she makes gets interpreted through that lens. So when Catherine stepped out wearing a piece last seen on Camilla, which had once belonged to Diana, the internet didn't see it as routine. It saw drama, a generational clash, a symbolic tug-of-war between past and present. Even without any real evidence of conflict, the narrative wrote itself. Because in the court of public opinion, perception is power. And when it comes to royal women, heirlooms carry more than history. They carry emotion, legacy, and identity. That's why this story sticks. It's not about jewels, it's about what and who they represent. So, was Queen Camilla actually furious? Probably not. But the fact that we believed she could be says everything about how we see the royals and the powerful emotions wrapped up in Diana's legacy. Catherine wearing the emerald brooch wasn't an act of defiance. It was tradition. It was symbolism. And maybe, just maybe, it was a quiet tribute to the woman who changed the royal family forever. But in the end, that's the magic and the danger of royal heirlooms. They don't just sparkle, they speak. If this story kept you hooked, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more royal deep dives.